After all of their disgusting behavior during their time as YouTubers, including faking their funeral for a GoFundMe scam,
her coffin is gonna cost them more because they have to triple the size of the coffin.
sisters Amy and Tammy Slaton, instead of fading into obscurity, were rewarded for their actions with 7 seasons of their own TLC reality show, 1,000-Pound Sisters. But if anyone had hoped that they would use this as a chance at redemption, they would be sorely mistaken.
Stars from the reality hit TV show 1,000-Pound Sisters was arrested.
What started as a few comments from concerned viewers, she's bringing kids in the world to make herself happy, but she's not providing them a clean and healthy environment, eventually became a reality.
Illegal possession of Schedule 6 drugs and 2 counts of child endangerment.
Every single time I hear the words Amy Slaton, a deep, burning rage builds up inside of me.
Before Amy and Tammy Slaton graced our TV screens, the Kentucky-based sisters were entertaining audiences from a far lower budget setting, YouTube. Even in these early days, there was something about the Slaton sisters' very existence that triggered controversy, whether it was their weight. I think this was just an excuse to eat some marshmallows, or their lifestyle. They need to be doing a "let's clean our house" challenge. But what started as pure hate watch material soon attracted a fan base who saw the sisters as brave for their refusal to conform and their antics as, well, humorous.
Bottom of the...
And it's this growing devotion that the sisters would eventually prey upon. Let's start with the Slaton sisters' early red flags. Yes, even before Amy and Tammy's every mistake became tabloid fodder, the sisters' track record wasn't exactly squeaky clean. Take this mugshot, for example. It traces all the way back to 2010. When Amy addressed the arrest in 2016, she claimed she'd been at a low point after quitting her job and losing her grandfather.
So everything was going bad for me, and I really wanted this book, and I thought, well, I'm going to try to steal it.
Amy put the book in her purse and tried to walk out, but she made one mistake, not removing the barcode.
And when I walked out the door of Walmart, it beeped.
Amy was arrested for her crime and ordered to pay a $400 fine.
I always learn from my mistakes, and this was a big mistake that I've never done it again, and I never will do it again.
But had Amy really learned her lesson? One of the more recent controversies suggests otherwise, and digging through the Slaton sisters' past proves this was far from the only time a sister crossed an ethical line. For one, there was the way Tammy and Amy treated their animals. From a lack of cleanliness to secondhand smoke, viewers were disturbed by the conditions the sisters exposed their pets to. In fact, the Slaton sisters' treatment of their animals was viewed so poorly that when Amy's German Shepherd attacked her, according to the internet, she had it coming. The incident occurred in 2016 after Amy locked the dog in a hot camper while doing laundry. Despite insisting in a since-deleted video that the air conditioning was on and he had cold water to drink, she also claimed the dog had smashed the AC unit to escape, raising suspicions that it hadn't been on in the first place. The YouTuber ended up sending the dog to the pound for observation. She assured her viewers that if the workers think he's okay, then he'll be sent to a better home. And if they didn't think the dog was okay, well, the implication was clear enough. Hundreds of thousands of dogs are euthanized every year, and given that Amy claimed the German Shepherd bit her, it was unlikely he would be rehomed. This, however, wasn't the only time one of the Slaton sisters' pets was abandoned in a hot car. In another deleted video from 2019, Tammy admitted that while they were celebrating Amy's birthday at an arcade, she felt bad for their dog Little Bit.
Because she sat outside in the hot car while we were having fun.
And despite Tammy's attempt to make it sound like the pet was taken care of,
I did get a little bit some ice water. So I thought about it.
Tammy couldn't take back what she already repeatedly admitted. The heat was unbearable.
We took a little break after that. Because it was hot.
It was confessions like this that led viewers to brand the sisters as selfish and liars who weren't deserving of their platform. And their history of alleged scams didn't help matters. When Amy was young, she was diagnosed with toxoplasmosis,
Which in layman's terms, that is what they call scars in my eyes.
This meant she was considered legally blind and would likely lose all vision by the time she was 35. According to Amy, this was why she was receiving disability payments, despite viewer speculation.
A lot of people will say that I'm on Social Security because I'm fat. They said that we shouldn't be on Social Security so we can sit on our lazy fat asses and use their taxpayer dollars and stuff like that. I just want to set the record straight. I'm not on disability for my weight.
At least for Amy, it wasn't because of her weight. Tammy, however, was allegedly receiving disability payments for her morbid obesity. This led internet users to accuse the sisters of scamming the system by receiving government handouts while raking in money as YouTubers, as well as through a shifty side hustle. Tammy's merch site, which described purchases as a donation, raised suspicions amongst viewers that the sisters were trying to cheat the system by presenting their income as charity, or as one Reddit user put it, "Yes, officer, tax evasion, right here." And the shady business tactics didn't stop there. The sisters were also accused of scamming the artists who worked on their merch by refusing to pay them. And while Tammy's business partner, a man named Quincy, claimed the artists didn't want payment and simply wanted to get a follow or noticed by Tammy, this was quickly contradicted by the artists. One artist claimed that they were blocked and their artwork was misattributed to someone else after requesting that their art not be used without payment. Another artist claimed their work was used without permission. However, when they reached out, they claimed Quincy accused them of clout chasing before ending the conversation with some seriously unprofessional words of advice, telling the artist to die. It was shortly after this that Quincy and Tammy had a falling out, leading to Quincy making claims that he was also scammed by Tammy.
I'm no longer supporting it. I don't want no one to be supporting this bullshit no more.
But according to the internet, the biggest victims of the Slaton sisters were their fans. See, over the years, Tammy's health has been a major point of concern, and in 2015, things took a turn for the worse. To the shock of viewers, at just 28 years old, Tammy was hospitalized, and despite some positive updates,
I've lost 108 pounds. So I'm under 500 now.
it wasn't long before Amy delivered crushing news. Tammy was going to die. Scratch that. She was probably going to die. Tammy had been put on life support, and according to Amy, that meant would likely be soon facing a major expense.
Her coffin is going to cost them more because they have to triple the size of the coffin.
Amy decided to post a GoFundMe for viewers to help fund Tammy's funeral, a person who, let us remind you, was very much alive. Many smelled a scam, and while some pointed out that the GoFundMe was clear that, if Tammy did live, the money would be used for hospital expenses, this contradicted what Amy said on her channel.
We won't be spending it on anything but the funeral.
I won't ask, but I don't know what else to do, Amy wrote on the GoFundMe page. Please, please help us, even if it's cents. Thank you and may God bless you. In total, the campaign raised over $800, and it was shortly after this that Tammy began reappearing in videos, alive and well.
Happy birthday, Tammy!
When Tammy learned what her sister had done, even she was outraged.
When I found out Amy did the whole GoFundMe thing, believe me, I was mad.
And so were those who had donated to the fundraiser. People quickly began requesting their money back. The problem was,
I gave it to my mother, who paid bills with Tammy's bills.
yes, according to Amy, the money was already gone. Still, she promised,
If you give me a confirmation number, email, I'll give you the money back. Because I'm not like that. I do not take money very lightly.
However, when it came to proving the money had gone toward medical bills, Amy was the one who couldn't cough up any receipts.
I should not throw receipts away. But in my head, I wasn't thinking, well, these receipts might come to bite me in the ass.
It wasn't long before the sisters were asking their fans for more handouts. In May 2016, viewers noticed that Tammy's funeral GoFundMe updated to a fundraiser to help Amy find a place to live, and then to a fundraiser to get Amy a new MacBook. The goal was set at $10,000. Amy ended up blaming the MacBook campaign on following some bad advice from a friend, a woman named Ashley, who later came forward claiming she was neither Amy's friend nor responsible for her repeated alleged scams.
Every single time I hear the words Amy Slaton get brought up anywhere, a deep burning rage builds up inside of me because of what you've done to not only me, but everyone else who felt bad for you and your family.
Ashley appeared to confirm her side of the story by supplying screenshots of messages where Amy wrote, "Yeah, I shouldn't have set the MacBook one up. I wish I hadn't set up any of them."
If I'm petty for calling out a known scammer, then so be it.
2 months after changing the campaign, Amy purchased a luxury RV camper, piquing viewer suspicions. So wait, Amy needs $10,000 for a MacBook Pro after buying the Taj Mahal of travel trailers? But it does make me wonder where the money she raised last year for Tammy's double-wide coffin went. Amy, however, claimed that the money for the camper hadn't come from GoFundMe, but from one of their viral videos.
Tell y'all 100% true that the money for the camper and the camper and the van came from me selling the rights to the Power of Nika video.
Still, if people did want their money back, she was happy to reimburse them.
If y'all do want your money back, please find a way to get a hold of me and I will give you the money back.
Despite this promise, in November 2016, a social media user by the name of Paracord came forward claiming she had sent Amy $250 for Tammy's funeral expenses and hadn't received her money back. She admitted Amy had sent her a gift card, allegedly with 1 cent on it. In response to the accusation, Amy claimed Paracord was trying to defraud her. By early January 2017, it was reported that Paracord was terminally ill and had needed the money to buy Christmas presents for her children. Another person following the story alleged Amy sent her followers after Paracord in hopes she'd stop asking for money. On January 17, 2017, a forum user reported Paracord had passed away. After news of Paracord's death, Paracord's son allegedly received a shocking email from Amy, which he then summarized for the internet. "We just got an email saying Amy is considering taking her own life. I am exhausted and raw, so if someone can get someone to check on Amy personally, please do so. I am pissed off that there are people in her camp who are concerned enough to tell me it will be our fault if she takes her life, but not concerned enough to call the cops where she lives." In a video from January 2017, Amy addressed the situation.
I'm sorry that she passed away, and I want to give my condolences to the family.
However, in a now deleted live stream, Amy speculated Paracord was just another person trying to scam her. But if their alleged history of scams hadn't already scorched the sisters' reputations, their messy personal lives might have done the trick. In 2016, Amy posted to Facebook, "Had the worst date of my life last night. Note to self, you can't trust men nowadays." If you're asking yourself how bad a date can get, well, according to Amy's story, very. The YouTuber claimed the man she was seeing, a 19-year-old who was autistic and had never been intimate with a woman, drank too much and peed on himself before leaving her alone in the motel room with no phone, no nothing. Her date, however, told a different version of events. On Facebook, he alleged that Amy bit him during their encounter despite him telling her to stop. As the conversation lowered to below-the-belt clapbacks from both sides, Amy took to YouTube to address the situation in a since-deleted video where she didn't exactly deny the allegations.
I was trying to give him a hickey because he was a virgin and he never had a hickey before. So I was giving him a hickey and he was like, "Quit biting me." And I'm like, "I'm not biting you." And he was like, "Yeah, you are." So I bit him, and I was like, "That's wicked."
Amy proceeded to dox the man in the comments section of the video, leading him and his family to allegedly file charges. So Amy's search for Mr. Right continued. After all, despite blaming her growing online fame for getting in the way of her IRL relationships,
I'm so sorry, Matt, that you were getting bullied because of dating me. But I did tell you in the beginning I do have a lot of hate right now.
Or when that didn't work, throwing shade at other parties involved.
Maybe it wasn't the YouTube that made him break up with me. Maybe it was the fact that it was his ex-girlfriend starting between us.
Amy wasn't ready to give up on love. And by 2017, it seemed the YouTuber had finally snagged a man who would stick around. In fact, it wasn't long after Amy introduced the world to her boyfriend Michael that the pair got engaged.
We were taking a walk, and he got down on one knee, and he asked me, and I was like, goddamn tell him.
Yet, as internet sleuths began digging into Michael's past, it became clear this was no fairy tale romance. See, it turned out Amy's Prince Charming had a criminal record for a DV charge dating back to 2015.
I'm not even going to talk about him being like that, because that was just one-time deal, and he regrets it, and he's sorry for it, and he would never do that to me, because he knows I'll beat the out of him.
It was also alleged in a now-deleted podcast that Amy had claimed Michael had been intimate with her before she was a legal adult. Despite these allegations, Amy and Michael tied the knot. Given the drama surrounding the Slaton sisters, by 2017, one internet user questioned why TLC hadn't given them their own special yet. As fate would have it, the sisters eventually did capture the network's attention. And after TLC featured them in the short-lived series Family by the Ton, Tammy and Amy were given their own show. The series was called 1,000 Pound Sisters, the approximate value of their combined weights, with Amy weighing 406 pounds at the beginning of the show and Tammy weighing 605 pounds. The show premiered in January 2020 and followed the Slaton sisters' weight loss journey as they worked to shed enough pounds to qualify for gastric bypass surgery. Unlike on YouTube, where Amy received the most hate, most of the backlash from the TV viewers was directed at Tammy, who was quickly labeled as rude, uncooperative, and jealous.
There's stuff you can do. Okay, shut the up. I'll do it when I'm ready.
While Amy lost weight and soon qualified for weight loss surgery, Tammy's constant fluctuations made viewers believe she wasn't taking her health seriously. Viewers also quickly learned Tammy's love life was just as disastrous as her sister's. Before starring on TLC, Tammy was being catfished by a viewer to get intimate photos. And after being thrust into the spotlight, well, things didn't improve in the dating department. In season 1 of 1,000 Pound Sisters, viewers were introduced to Tammy's boyfriend, Jerry Sykes, who, it turned out, was married and had 7 children at home. Naturally, these details, along with the fact that Jerry, who was also a longtime viewer of the Slaton sisters, confessed to having feelings for Amy, didn't suggest wedding bells were in the future. On top of this, Amy also accused Jerry of being a feeder, a term for someone who is aroused by feeding their partner and watching them gain weight, aka the exact type of person Tammy, who was battling obesity, didn't need in her life.
A feeder is somebody who will feed you until you're so big, your body basically gives out on you.
By the second season of the show, the couple had already split, and by the third season, Tammy was seeing someone new, TikToker Philip Redmond, also known as the BBW King.
Most men with money don't want an obese woman. They just don't.
Who is she talking about?
Most
men,
period, wouldn't want an obese woman. Wouldn't want an right.
I want an obese woman.
Fans believe Philip's love for obese women was more than a preference and also accused him of being a feeder. As one Twitter user put it, Philip is just another man to come sneak Tammy food she shouldn't be eating. Another feeder. The relationship ended with Tammy allegedly filing a restraining order against Philip for harassment that she claimed at its peak involved him calling her up to 20 times an hour. But like most things Slaton sister related, there was another side to the story. In an interview with the reality TV blog TV Show Ace, the mother of Philip's children claimed Tammy was a lying piece of garbage who falsely accused Philip of stalking her when she knew that their relationship had always been purely for TikTok. Naturally, the drama surrounding the Slaton sister only grew as they began expanding their family. One of Amy's biggest storylines on 1,000 Pound Sisters was her goal to become a mother. And following her weight loss surgery in 2019, despite her doctor's warnings to wait 2 years before having a child post-op, she conceived and eventually gave birth to a healthy baby boy named Gage. But with all eyes on Amy, her journey into motherhood was heavily scrutinized. And what internet sleuths found disturbed them. Take this photo Amy posted of Gage eating, for example. Seems innocent, right? But when you look a little closer, something in the background stands out. An ashtray. Were the Slatons already exposing Gage to secondhand smoke? This wasn't the only red flag that sparked concern amongst viewers. When Amy began feeding Gage solids at 4 months old, 2 months earlier than many doctors recommend, Amy defended herself against the backlash, commenting on a post of Gage eating green beans. Gage's doctor told us to give him vegetables. I would never do anything to hurt Gage. I even messaged his nurse daily to make sure he stayed safe. The state of the home was another issue for viewers as Amy posted content content featuring Gage lying on dirty blankets and on the floor with nothing to cushion him. Even Amy was aware that her home wasn't exactly baby-friendly and hired organizers to help her clean in the 3rd season of 1,000 Pound Sisters. She claims she grew up in a messy home and wanted better for Gage.
Trying to balance my life as a mom, trying to be better as a mom than I was.
But did a desire to do better make Amy fit for the challenge of motherhood? By the time Amy announced she was pregnant with her 2nd child in January 2022, the internet still wasn't convinced. See, remember the ashtray in Gage's Instagram photo? Well, it turned out social media's concern was valid, as Amy admitted in an interview with The Sun in 2022 to smoking a pack a day during her first pregnancy. And while she had cut down to 5 cigarettes a day, she still hadn't managed to kick the habit for her 2nd pregnancy. Given that smoking while pregnant can cause issues during delivery as well as birth defects and developmental issues in babies, attempting to quit while already pregnant wasn't good enough for viewers. As one Reddit user put it, she's bringing kids in the world to make herself happy, but she's not providing them with a clean and healthy environment. She's setting a horrible example. It will be a near miracle if her kids don't also end up obese, and she's doing a lot to prevent her own longevity. But regardless of what the internet thought about Amy having more children, in July 2022, Amy and Michael welcomed their 2nd son, Glenn Allen, to the family. Meanwhile, Tammy was going through her own changes. After fluctuating in weight for years, in July 2022, Tammy had finally lost enough pounds to qualify for weight loss surgery. More recently, she also had a skin removal surgery to take care of excess skin. The result had been a transformation so jaw-dropping that it has social media users running to the gym.
I'm down 500 pounds now.
And Tammy's love life also transformed. In November 2022, she married a man she met in weight loss rehab, Caleb Willingham. This love story, however, was cut tragically short when Caleb passed away in July 2023, likely due to complications from morbid obesity.
Knowing that I'm wearing his ashes around my neck and on my hand kind of actually helps me pass the day.
While viewers were sympathetic to what Tammy was going through and hopeful that this wouldn't derail her weight loss efforts, this hasn't prevented her behavior from being criticized during the latest season of 1,000 Pound Sisters.
Now that I've lost so much weight, I feel like she's kind of jealous. She's not the pretty sister no more.
One Reddit user recently posted, "Tammy is a petulant child a good 90% of the time. She is unkind and childish, and I cannot see any part of her growth. She lost weight, and that's about the only change I see." Another user replied, "She's still an absolutely miserable person. It seems like she gets a pass from so many people due to the weight loss and Amy continuing to be terrible as well." But hold on, why had the internet turned against Amy again? Following her messy split from Michael in 2023, which ended in Amy filing and then dropping DV charges and both parties filing restraining orders, Amy's life seemingly began to spiral out of control. She began dating new men, bringing them around her children and into her home, where she still smoked freely despite the backlash she received.
Every time you go outside to smoke a cigarette, it gets on your clothes, it gets on your hair, it gets on your skin, it gets on everything. Do you absolutely clean yourself every time you go smoke a cigarette before you touch your kids?
Eventually, Amy found a steady boyfriend, a man named Brian Louvorn. And if you're hoping he would be the positive influence Amy needed in her life, the events of September 2nd, 2024 suggest otherwise.
Breaking news out of West Tennessee, the star of a reality TV show on TLC has been arrested after a day at a drive-through zoo.
Deputies were called to Tennessee Safari Park after a guest claimed that they were bitten by a camel. That guest was, you guessed it, Amy Slaton, who was driving through the park with her boyfriend and her children. Her injury, however, didn't resemble a camel bite to law enforcement.
I looked at their arm. I had a picture of it. I don't believe it was a camel bite.
What did alarm the deputies were the suspicious odors coming from Amy's car. Inside the same vehicle that the reality star's 2 children were sitting in, law enforcement found marijuana and psychedelic mushrooms. The couple was arrested for possession as well as child endangerment and spent the night in Crockett County Jail before being released the next day.
You have anything to say to your fans that want to know about the camel bite?
Thank you, and I'm sorry for everything.
After the charges for child endangerment were were dismissed, Amy and Brian pleaded guilty to possession. In December 2024, Amy and Brian received a suspended sentence of 11 months and 29 days, which they wouldn't serve as part of their plea agreement. They were also ordered to pay fines of $1,000, complete an assessment for illegal substances and alcohol, and take parenting classes, something the internet believed Amy was in desperate need of. Continually endangering her children, intentionally or not, has led some to believe it was a mistake for Amy to have children at all. As one Reddit user put it, she liked the idea of kids, the somebody who will love you unconditionally con. She completely ignored the actual work that goes into raising them. On the most recent season of 1,000 Pound Sisters, even Tammy tried getting through to Amy.
That's what you always wanted, was to be a mommy. And now you can go to jail for who knows how long. And that's scary.
Yet, just as the concern over the chaos Amy was inviting into her and her boys' lives peaked, the reality star announced her engagement to Brian, a man she'd known for 5 months at this point. Just 1 month later, Tammy announced she was engaged to her girlfriend, Andrea Dalton, who she only went public with 2 months prior.
Me and my fiance, we just kind of chill at home.
Hold on, you said fiance?
Safe to say, the internet was skeptical. One Reddit user commented, 100% one of the two is going to have a divorce in the next 5 years, most likely Amy. Another user replied, 5 years? I love your optimism. So is this going to be the happily ever after the Slaton sisters have been waiting for? Or is the internet right in predicting that these relationships will simply end up as entries on the sisters' seemingly never-ending track record of controversies? For now, we'll just have to wait and see. While you're here, check out our video on another creator who the public doesn't just believe shouldn't have children, but is doing everything in its power to take away the child he has. And consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Your support means a lot to us and helps us continue to create videos like these.